Okay. Afternoon, everybody. GRT co-chair Tony Fragomeni coming to you live from the Hotel Lombardi in Washington, D.C. Just a scant block or so from the Department of Ed. Wanted to give you a little update on what has gone on this week. The first week of negotiated rulemaking, the first of 3 week-long sessions of negotiated rulemaking in regards to the student loan issues. Let me start off by saying that this is a highly technical negotiated rulemaking. It's very focused on issues that pertain to the student loan program and conforming regulations that they're trying to get in, which is one aspect of the FFELP program and the general phase out of the FFELP program into the direct loan program. So that's one of the focuses. The other is creating some regulations that are necessary to create for the direct loan program. So let me start off by saying that the week had started off on Monday afternoon. We've been here now for 3.5 days with co-chair Greg Jones, and you're going to hear from him shortly. But we're coming to you again to try and give you this update. So the week started out with protocols. The protocol process basically is accepting all of the negotiators, their constituency and their representation, and the agenda items. During the process, there's also the availability or the ability for people to nominate negotiators from the floor and add agenda items. There was no offerings for additional negotiators from the floor. However, there were a number of agenda items that were proposed by different constituencies along with AACS, and I'll get to those in a moment. But the idea behind the additional agenda items is to keep them so that they're very non-controversial, technical in nature, that they didn't have any cost factor, that they are regulatory versus statutory in nature, and that they do come under the purview of the scope of what the negotiations are. So that was a criteria that the department used for deciding whether to accept agenda items, additional agenda items, or not. There was probably 25 or so agenda items proposed to be added to the already 22 that the department had put out on the protocols. And out of the 25 that were brought up and suggested by members of the negotiating team, they accepted 3 additional ones, which all went with the Perfect Loans program and were very technical in nature and were basically cleanup types of regulations that were going to go in and allow the Perkins loan program to conform with some of the additional regulations. The basic ones that we offered for NACAS, we offered up a line within the income contingent and the income-based repayment program, recognizing the executive order from the President's office coming down to having a special period of time while people were going to be able to go into income contingent and income borrowing. They are capped right now for the cohorts that we serve at 3%. No more than 3% of your borrowers may be in repayment under the income contingent or income-based repayment program. One of the other ones was a single point of contact, which we felt was really the most important one. In the single point of contact, we wanted some mechanism in place so that a student borrower would be able to go and contact one place to find out where their loans were, who was servicing them, and how they were going to go about entering repayment. The other one was the rehabilitation of loans. Under IBR, ICR, and other rehabilitative matters for student loans, we wanted to make sure that once a loan was rehabilitated, that it was removed from the CDR or from the gainful employment regulations. Unfortunately, none of those recommendations were accepted, and as I said, the only ones that were accepted by the department were the few loans issues about Perkins Loans programs. What we did is that in that first day we finished the protocols, we accepted all the members, the agenda items were accepted, and then the department started with 22 agenda items and went through and offered up their thoughts on each one in what they call issue papers. Each one of the issue papers was brought forward. There was discussion. It was more of like a workshop atmosphere, and all the negotiators gave their thoughts on certain issues. One of the most important that we worked with was the extension or the proposal to extend the loan discharge for students on closed institutions. Right now it stands at 90 days, and any student who's in a tenants of an institution that closes within 90 days, they can apply for loan discharge. The folks from the Attorney General's office in Kentucky, they proposed extending that, and that was supported by the student advocate groups and also by the National Law Center representative. We formed a subcommittee, and we did have some very meaningful discussion about that, and that's still in the balance as far as what the recommendations to the Department of Education will be on those issues. So we got through the agenda items. We even got through the first 3 agenda items and got some additional thoughts back from the department. And on Thursday afternoon, almost half a day early, the committee adjourned, and we will now go into our February session. As we go forward, we will be sharing information with the membership. The GRT has formed, the committee will be working on the recommendations that have been given through the committee, and we'll also be working through information that will be coming from the Department of Ed. So a rather lengthy process. We're at the very beginning and the very early stages of this, but just so that you know that the GRT is working on this. We'll be coming to you from Washington over the next negotiated period, which is February 13th, so we'll have about a month to work on some proposals and work on some areas and get some information and feedback from the Department of Education on what their thoughts are. So what I'd like to do right now is I'd like to turn it over to my co-chair, Greg Jones, who has just gotten done attending his first session of negotiated rulemaking. And I'd like for him to give you some feelings and some feedback on what he thought, what he saw, and what his feelings are. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you soon.